Hey, so in the last video I put out, we had just gotten through the Great Plains, and so, where was that? Was that like Edmonton? Is that about where we...
I think roughly around Edmonton or so.
Yeah, because Calgary was still kind of in the plains.
Yeah.
Alright, and then when we got to Edmonton, we finally got out of that, and then, I think, was it in Calgary we spent the night at the Cabela's?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so we spent the night at the Cabela's, which was really rather odd. It seemed like there were some people who had been living there for quite a while, with some really rundown campers. But we had a problem there going through the parking lot because it was really twisty and you had to make sharp turns, and unfortunately I think our rear view camera, the camera on the back of the camper, the connection to the truck kind of got pulled, and have not been able to get that fixed yet. So at some point I'm going to have to do that. And then we got into the mountains, and that was interesting. As we got into Canada, we knew the prices would be higher, especially for fuel, but they haven't been too bad. The highest price I think we paid for fuel was in the mountains. We stopped at this little place where they came out and they pumped the gas for you, and that was like about $6.50 a gallon for diesel. And then right now we are in Whitehorse, which is the one city in the Yukon, and I think we're paying here about $4.50 a gallon for diesel. And so that's about that. And what have been your highlights of the trip so far?
So the highlights, I've definitely seen the mountains. I mean, those are just amazing.
Oh, God,
I don't think I'll get sick of seeing them. Like, they're here in Whitehorse, and it's so cool when we drive around going to Walmart and whatever, and you just see that in the distance. And then the wildlife, we haven't seen everything yet, but we're driving along and there's just a herd of caribou just hanging out in the road. You just have to stop and wait for them to mosey on, and the buffalo just hanging out on the side. We hopefully we'll post that later. There was one just sitting there. Tom, we stayed in the vehicles, obviously, and Tom just took some pictures of it, just was staring at us like, okay, whatever, move along.
The bison don't seem to care, but the caribou, they're a little bit more skittish. They tend to run off. What else have we seen? We saw the moose.
We saw the moose when we were in Dawson Creek. It was right behind our camper. That was really amazing. All of a sudden it was just right there, Mom and her calf.
Well, we're seeing our first moose ever here. There's Mama Moose here, and there's a calf, but I was busy taking pictures and then the calf left. I wanted to get pictures first. I know we shouldn't be getting this close, but they're right up next to our trailer here, and they don't really seem to care. That's pretty cool. I did not think we would get this close to a moose. And we're only in Canada. We haven't even started the Alaska Highway yet. Unbelievable. The mama kind of chased the calf off a minute ago. I'm not sure. I'm just looking around to see if I could find the calf. That is pretty amazing.
But that's about it that we've seen. But I know there's gonna be more. I was talking to someone else who they saw some bear on their way here to Whitehorse, but we didn't see the grizzly. So.
Oh, I didn't realize you'd.
Yeah,
somebody.
The guy
was next door.
Yeah, they just left this morning. They're on their way to Alaska. So.
Seems like everybody is. We've been here now for 3 days because I've had to make some repairs on some stuff. We got here in Whitehorse, and we got hooked up to electric and everything, and everything was fine, and then all of a sudden our AC power went out.
Nothing.
Yeah, DC was fine, but the AC was out, and I figured it's got to be a breaker. Yeah, went outside, and we did trip the breaker. We don't have true 50 amp here, but we have an adapter where we get 30 amp plus 15 amp, so we get close to 50 amp, and one of those breakers had tripped, and so I was like, okay, so I reset that and nothing. Tried everything I couldn't come up with anything, and anyway. Long story short, the battery cutoff switch on our inverter had actually melted. So that was the cause of the problem. Made for a really cold night because we couldn't figure it out on the first night. Had to wait till the next day.
Yeah.
But we got that fixed. I replaced it with a higher amperage cutoff switch, and so far since then we've been good. And couple of things I've noticed is driving on this trip, because I've been doing a lot of driving, is first of all, the roads are not that bad. Everybody talks about the roads being bad, and they're not. As a matter of fact, there's less potholes than in Michigan. I mean, like hardly any potholes at all. Yeah. I don't know what they do with their roads up here, how they can keep them from getting all torn up and everything, but the roads are really in good shape, except, you know, where they've had to do repairs. We've run into a few frost heaves, but not too many yet.
And they're nicely marked. You know,
the frost heaves,
yeah. They tend, you know, they put these little flags on the side of the road, so as long as you look ahead and see the orange, you're like, oh, okay, gotta slow down.
Yep. And some of the frost heaves are small enough that you can just keep on going, and others you have to drive in. Or drive into the oncoming traffic, which really isn't any big deal, because there's like hardly ever any traffic at all. I mean, most of the time you can take your half right out of the middle of the highway, and it's not a problem. But one of the other things, well, three things so far I think that I've noticed about driving in Canada. Well, I got used to the kilometers per hour. That was no big deal.
Yeah.
But first of all, they oh yes, hi, yes, you're such a good boy. They don't like to paint the lines on the highways, so you're never exactly sure where you are. A lot of times there's no yellow lines down the middle, there's no white lines on the sides. If there's more than one lane, they don't have the two different lanes marked, and not just on the highway, but in Whitehorse here where we're staying. I mean, you're driving, and all of a sudden, you know, you realize that there's a turning lane on the left, and there's two lanes that go on the right, and there's no markings for any of it.
And sometimes it's a bike lane, but you can barely tell that, you know, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's just like it seems like a really wide lane. So for some reason in Canada, they don't mark the lines on the roads. The other thing I've noticed is on the highways, they don't like guardrails. It seems like every time that we're coming down one of these steep hills, and you know, we're picking up speed, and the exhaust brake is kicking in. There's no marking on the side of the road. You can't tell really where the edge of the road is versus the shoulder, because it's all the same color. And then it's just a drop off. Yeah. And you know, there's no guardrails or anything like that. It seems like every once in a while they'll put up some no posts, and once in a great while there's a guardrail, but not really.
And it seems like whenever you're coming down from one of those, there's a sharp turn too.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The opposite way of that where you've been coming down. So it's like, yeah.
And so that's about it. We're going to be heading out of Whitehorse tomorrow, and we should take 3 or 4 days probably to get to Fairbanks. We're really not in a hurry, and from everybody that we've talked to and everything that we've read and all the videos we've seen, this is when the road starts to get rough. And it seems like, you know, we've been averaging 50 miles per hour our whole trip, like dead on. And from what we've seen, we're going to be lucky to average about 35 miles per hour from here to at least to Tok. Yeah. And then after Tok, the roads get better again. So.
Yep.
That's about it for now.
Yeah, so we're just planning on taking it slow, and we'll talk to you when we get to Fairbanks. Say goodbye, Kenobi.
Oh, Jesus.
Going down again.
Just passed a sign that was flashing that said there could possibly be sheep on the road, and we're going down this mountain pass. This is the first guardrail I've seen.
Yeah.
No lines on the road, so you have no idea where the edge of the road is, or the middle of the road for that matter. Oh my God.
Yep.
God, there's nobody behind us.
Yep. No one coming at us.
Jesus. Wow.
This is unbelievable.
Gives a whole new meaning to the word. Oh my God, I wish I wouldn't look down there. Shit. Wow, look at that mountain ahead of us.
I know.
I've said it before, but again, thank God for exhaust brakes. We could not do this without a diesel truck.
Nope.
And who's going down here at 60 kilometers per hour? I'm doing 35 and freaking out.
Yeah. No stopping, no shit. Unless you have to stop for the sheep.
Okay, I think I might be off the road on the right. I'm not sure.
It's hard to tell. You might be, but...
Oh, man. Look at that river valley here on the left.
I know, it's beautiful. It's just amazing.
Oh, look at it in front of us, too.